Howdy, Legendary Void here, and today I have an interesting Wave 5 deck tech for y'all. Now, I've been seeing a lot of ideas for healing decks going around all over the net, and of course I thought I'd give my own shot at it. So we're going to be focusing this deck around Optimus Prime Legendary Warrior, because he has this awesome ability in his body mode that says whenever he attacks, you get to repair 1 damage from one of your characters. And then if you have fewer characters on the battlefield than your opponent, you repair 1 more damage, which that can stack incredibly fast if you know what you're doing. So we're gonna try and focus this deck around that. And it also has a really cool ability in this alt mode that says when you flip to this mode, you get to draw a card. And then if you have fewer cards in your hand than your opponent, you get to draw another card. So basically his flip equals a draw 2. So it's really, really cool. And now the head that we're going to be playing with him is Briscoe. Now Briscoe is a head that gives +3 health for 2 stars, so that'll effectively make him a 14 cost. So that is that there. As well as also giving him a base 19 health, which is absolutely incredible. So that's pretty crazy in and of itself. And the other character we're going to play, yes, this is going to be too wide, pretty much ensuring that in most matchups we'll be able to get his ability off almost every single time he attacks, is Detritus. Now Detritus is a 5/14/2 mercenary that has a bounty that says whenever he KOs an enemy, he gets to repair 3 damage from himself, which again leans towards the healing side of the deck, so he's really cool there, as well as also having an ability when you flip to his alt mode that says you get to play a black card anytime you flip here. So together this is 25 stars, 14 and 11, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into the battle cards. So starting off with the actions, we are playing 3 copies of War of Attrition. Now this card is absolutely amazing in this sort of deck. In addition to getting to heal 3 damage from one of your characters, should you play all 3 of them, you get to do 3 damage to your opponent's characters, making an extremely amazing card to play if you can get all 3 in your hand. And of course, since we're doing a ton of healing, this is a very nice card for you to get to play, since you're doing damage and healing. So of course that works towards the deck's total there. As well as we are also playing 3 copies of Wedge Formation. Now this deck, it doesn't exactly have one single pip color that it focuses around. It's mostly blue, but it has a little bit of Pierce in there and a little bit of orange as well. So of course your flips aren't going to be entirely consistent, but of course it doesn't matter too much if you're going to heal most of the damage you're taking off. Now Wedge Formation is a orange, black, and green pip card, and you get to heal 1 damage from one of your melee characters. Now the only melee character is going to be Optimus Prime in his alt mode, otherwise they're ranged in every mode, as well as Briscoe being melee, but you also get to heal 2 from Optimus Prime should he have a toolbox on him, which is a card we'll get to later, as well as also being able to draw a card for having ranged characters in play. So it is a very nice card that you can just pull to your hand due to it being a green pip. And we're also going to be playing 3 copies of Security Checkpoint. Now this card is going to be mostly just for the double blues, but because this deck is a majority actions, it's okay for you to play it every now and then, so you can get rid of upgrades from your opponent's hand. So of course very nice there. And since it is a majority actions, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Brainstorm, so you can play multiple of them at once, since you'll get to play 2 additional actions after the Brainstorm. So that is a very nice combination there. We also have 3 copies of Opportune Repairs, as well as 3 copies of Opportune Offensive. Now this is something that I was thinking about when I was first coming up with this deck. Since Optimus Prime is an Autobot, he gets to take advantage of Opportune Repairs, meaning that he gets to heal 3 damage if you have a mercenary on the starting team, aka Detritus. And since Detritus is also on the field, you also get to play Opportune Offensive. And since in the recent ruling they said that all cards are going to be inclusive instead of exclusive, since Optimus Prime is now a Autobot and a Decepticon, he gets to abuse both of these cards, meaning that he can heal 3 since he's an Autobot, as well as get +3 Pierce 3 from Opportune Offensive. So he gets to abuse both of those cards, as well as getting the awesome pip coloring from both of them. So very, very nice there, especially with the specific combination of characters that we have. And the last regular action we're going to be playing is 2 copies of Versatilities. Now this is one card from Wave 5 that I've been wanting to use for a while, and since we're using a variety of pip colors in this deck, Versatility seems like a pretty good card, even if it doesn't have a pip on it itself. What it says is choose one of your characters. Whenever it attacks for the first time this turn, and you flip at least 1 battle icon, you get to pair 1 damage from it for each different color you flipped. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this ruling, but I believe if you do have a toolbox on them, each individual pip is a separate heal 1. So I guess for each pip, you're basically healing 2. So if you flip 3 different pips, you heal 6 damage. So extremely, extremely strong if you can get that into your hand. Now for our secret actions, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Sabotage Armaments. Of course, this is a very good defensive card in that it gets rid of your opponent's weapons whenever they attack at you. Of course, you do have to make sure that they're going to be attacking with someone with the weapon for it to be used the most effectively, but otherwise, that's why we're only playing 2 of them. We're also playing 3 copies of Hold the Line, which is a white-green secret action that says whenever one of your characters defends, you get to repair 1 damage from it. Obviously, with Toolbox, that'll make it 2. But you also can't take more damage from that battle, more than the stars the attacker has. So for example, if your opponent is attacking with a Vorath, which their Vorath does have 1 star, that means that you'll heal 1, and then you can't take more than 1 damage from the attack with Vorath. So it's very, very strong in that regard. It can save you in more than a few ways. It especially limits what Airstrike Patrol can do, as each of the characters can only do 4 damage or 5 damage, and similar things like that. And the last secret actions we're playing is 2 copies of End Hostilities. Whenever one of your characters defends, each orange pip you flip, either player flips, is instead a blue pip. And since this deck also has a few oranges in it, it also changes those orange pips on your side of the field to blue. So your defenses is going to be higher and your opponent's attack is going to be lower. So it's a very, very strong card for you to play in this deck. Now for our weapons, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Paralyzo Box. Now this is a very nice card since most of the characters in the lineup are going to be ranged. Detritus in both modes, as well as Prime in his bot mode. You're going to be able to pull this card to your hand whenever you see it for a majority of the time, as well as it also contributing to the white pit pool. And what it does is you get to basically declare a pip color, and then your opponent reveals the top card of their deck, and if it is the color you said, you get +4 attack until the end of the battle. So very, very strong card if you know what kind of deck your opponent's running. And the other weapon we're going to be playing is 3 copies of Fusion Borer. Like I said, this deck is a little bit oriented towards Pierce so that you can actually deal some damage against those heavy blue decks. But this card gives you +3 Pierce 3, as well as it getting scrapped at the end of the battle. So if you can play one of these in an opportune offensive, you're a +6 Pierce 6 without even flipping it. So very, very strong combination there. So as for our armors, we're playing 2 copies of Scout Armor, which says it can only put on trucks, tanks, wreckers, and Constructicons. And since both Optimus Prime and Detritus are both trucks, you get to abuse that there. And anytime one of them gets KO'd, which your opponent will definitely have to work towards, you get to draw 2 cards, and it also gives you +1 defense, as well as giving you a black pip and a blue icon. So, of course, your opponent's going to have to work towards the KOs on your characters, and then you're just going to get to benefit from them by being able to draw 2 whenever your opponent finally gets rid of them. So, very nice there. And the other armors we're playing is 2 copies of Reinforced Plating and 1 copy of Sparring Gear. They all give tough 2. The only reason we're playing 1 Sparring Gear is, of course, it's an orange icon, so it disrupts the defense a little bit. But the tough 2, being able to pull it to your hand via being a green pip, is very nice. And we're also playing 2 copies of Reinforced Plating, since if you do have the Sparring Gear down, you really only need to cover 1 more character on the field for your Reinforced Plating to matter. So, and of course, the only utility we're going to be playing is 2 copies of Toolbox. Since you're only going to have 2 characters max on the field at once, of course, we're only going to really need 2 toolboxes, because it says if a damage would be repaired from the upgraded character, instead it gets repaired 1 more. So if you're getting healed 3, you're going to instead be healed 4. If you're going to be healed 1, instead it's healed 2. So, of course, it's green pips. You'll pull it to your hand and just put it straight down on your characters. You can start repairing for just massive amounts of damage. And yeah, that's the deck tech. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and this deck is actually really incredibly fun to play. It doesn't do too well against aggro decks, but it definitely has its strengths against blue decks, of course, just being able to heal against the little bit of damage that they're able to do to you. But yeah, it's very, very strong. You have so much health. I believe it's like, what, 36 in total between 3 if you count Briscoe, but yeah, it's very, very strong, and I'm excited to play it in some competitive matches, see how it does, and experiment with more healing decks in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to, of course, smash like and subscribe, and as always, have a phenomenal day. Peace.